Here we go now. A case of beer, some barbecue. There's no doubt that I'm better than you. With these looks and these moves.
Check. Testing 1, 2.
The land of the red, white, and blue will be my home till the day I die. I'm every lady's fantasy. I'm the American guy. The trailer park is where I'm from. You better believe I have about 27 guns. Baseball games, pickup trucks. I'm leagues above you other dumb schmucks. I'm from where the women are hot and the Twinkies are deep fried. And every day I pledge allegiance to God and country. I'm the American guy.
Happy Monday evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. This is the podcast. We're going to come at you twice a week, as long as possible, up until Galacticon. And we're going to cover all the teasers, all the announcements, and we're happy to have you along for the ride. This is episode number 144, the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, the podcast that is giving out free episodes to everyone who's been vaccinated. Actually, they're all free. But we want to start, as we always do, by taking a moment to thank the incredible Patreon patrons who make this show and the other shows from Saturday Morning Media possible. Huge thanks to all of them, and a big thank you to our patron producers who pledge at the producer level: Dorothy Pachoco, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Tony Urbano, David Akers, Jamie Donmeyer, and Vicky Sebring. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some big news to get to. I'm going to continue my Origins 2136 ranking, but we've got to start with the news that just broke less than an hour ago over at filsingergames.com, and that is the next card reveal for Origins 2137, and that is of Tarval the Trapper. Enter Tarval the Trapper in Origins 2137. He joins partner Horus the Unstoppable, aliens from Merapis, love hyperbole, as they pursue their secret mission to capture the Basilisk. Talk about a dangerous goal. Can Horus and Tarval pull it off? What enemies will they make along the way? Will they join a GWF team? The answer to the latter question is yes, but which one? And how will Killprey respond to another hunter in his midst? Will they be powerful allies or deadly foes? The drama unfolds with the coming of Origins 2137 in July. The incredible journey has just begun. Look at this artwork. If you are listening to the audio version of the podcast, you got to go to filsingergames.com. You got to check out this artwork. This artwork is fantastic. All three pieces of artwork that have come out so far for this set have been incredible, and this one is no exception. And I love the storyline because if you are a follower of my Fed, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on, I had somebody in 2136 trying to capture the Basilisk, and I'll get to who that is in just a second, but I had that person trying to capture the Basilisk, so I'm super excited about this because maybe that person reached out for some help, and Horus and Tarval will be there to help that possibility become a reality. Hey, did you know that pre-orders for 2137 and all the new releases start next week, 1 week from Friday? filsingergames.com is the place to go to get all of that information. That is the news. It is awesome. It is incredible. I cannot wait for this set. Once this set arrives, you're going to see so many Champions of the Galaxy videos on this YouTube channel. You're going to want to bash your head against a wall. Hey, it's time for part 2 of my series in ranking 2136, ranking the 10 cards that we got in 2136. I should have done a little rundown of number 10 through number 6, but we'll just soldier forward here. Number 5, coming in at number 5 is Saber. I like this character. I just wish he fared better against Perfect Specimen, the person he was brought in to feud with. In my Fed, he got trounced every single time he fought Perfect Specimen. In fact, I made this big thing in the first episode of Saber has arrived to challenge Perfect Specimen, and it was like basically a squash match. And then every time they fought after that, Perfect Specimen just handled him quickly, and it was like, well, this isn't really much of a CTA versus Titans a challenge, because Perfect Specimen is just trouncing him, and all the other Titans beat him as well. He was 6-7 for the year for me, 6 wins, 7 losses. He had a great match with Shane for the Interplanetary Championship to cap off the year, but he lost. I'm excited to see if maybe he gets some reinforcements, or maybe he is just, sort of like Matador of M83. He is the advanced scout, and then someone more powerful who can challenge Perfect Specimen is coming in. But I guess that remains to be seen. But Saber is my number 5 wrestler. Number 4 is the creature we just talked about, Basilisk. I had a lot of fun with this character during 2136. The storyline I worked up was that from the beginning of the year to the end, all Murtak wanted to do was capture the Basilisk, so he spent the year finding people to wrestle the Basilisk while he waited at ringside with a net. And he was just waiting with like a big, oversized cartoon dog catcher net. And he was just waiting for somebody to beat Basilisk so he could capture him in the net. No one could best Basilisk, so Murtak could capture him. So Murtak challenged Basilisk to a Cosmic Cage match, the thinking that the Basilisk could not run away once he was in a Cosmic Cage. Of course, Murtak lost that match just completely. He got trounced. But I had a little moment at the end where the Basilisk gained some respect for the little guy. In my Fed, Basilisk for the year is 7-4, so a pretty good record. While I wish Basilisk had been... my only complaint about Basilisk is the art on the card. I wish we could see more of this creature instead of just this little peekaboo around the door that we do have of him. I like the character. I hope he'll be around for a bit, and it seems like he is because of the Tarval and Oris storyline, so he'll be at least another year. I hope he, I was kind of hoping that he was not somebody like End of Days who was just there for a set and then he was gone. But it appears he'll be around for a while, and I'm super excited about that. Moving on to number 3 and number 2 is FDF Tradition. What an upgrade these two had. Tank and Climber's upgrade have pushed them all the way up the tag team rankings. To end 2136, they were ranked number 2 at the end of the year. They haven't been able to capture the titles yet, but they are on the cusp of doing so. And I'm usually not a fan of sort of straight-laced FDF, we're the hero tag teams, but I like these two for some reason. I like Climber's moves and abilities a little bit more than Tank, so I ranked him higher, but they're more than less even for me. Looking forward to giving them a push for the titles in 2137. Hopefully they're still together, unless Tom has some reason for them to break up. But I think they just got new cards with new art, so I don't think they will break up. I think they'll be a team for a while. I really like their art, and I hope someday Filsinger Games... This was just a little comment. I love their art. I love how it fits together. If you saw the podcast art for this, you can see how I was able to fit them together. I hope someday Filsinger Games is able to find a way to print the cards so that artwork that is connected like this can really shine and be put together when you lay the cards next to each other, and they don't have that little white border all the way around them. But great cards. These two were 2 of my favorites. Well, that only leaves number 1 and the one spot left. And if you would have told me this person would have been my number 1 when I first got the 2136 cards, I would have said, you're kidding. But that is Krala. Krala is my favorite card from 2136. She performed incredibly well, ending the year with a 9-5 record. And in her final match of the year, she claimed the women's championship on the very last card. Her record is actually what I thought Killer Queen's record would be. But Killer Queen just couldn't get it done. Krala just powered through everyone. I played her as a no-nonsense, ready-to-fight-anyone character. And instead of in the storyline in the book, Tom kind of hinted that Tharkus was like love struck by her and was trying to impress her. I changed that and I had Murtak take on that role as it seemed more fitting. And part of the reason he wanted to capture the Basilisk was to impress Krala. And Krala just could care less. She just ignored him. He didn't even exist to her. This card really made me a fan of the women's wrestling in the GWF. And I think Tom absolutely knocked it out of the park with her stats. The artwork is fantastic. The stats are incredible. I'm eager to see how long she holds the title into 2137. There's been some rumblings that maybe there would be a female Aetherian gladiator coming in, but we'll see. I think Krala is pretty tough. I also think, the storyline in the book was that there's sort of this struggle for power within the Conquerors between Saber and Tharkus. I think Krala should knock both of them on their asses and take control of the team, because Krala did way better than either of those two for me in 2136. So depending on where the storyline goes in 2137, I just may make Krala the leader of the team because I think she's pretty awesome. And there you go. That is my review of 2136. I am super looking forward to 2137. And as I said, you're going to see a lot of Origins 2137 videos on the YouTube channel when that is released. Well, it is time for match of the show. Dude Brohan continuing his incredible reign as podcast grand champion. I asked you who Dude Brohan should fight next. We got some amazing suggestions. Jim Lundas, Steve Williams, Dr. Death, Jet Set Strutter, BuZZsaW, George Hackenschmidt, Archon, Shane is still pulling for Archon, and the Fabulous Moolah, because I forget who it was who suggested it, and I forgive me because I don't have it right in front of me, but they said, well, if she's, able to challenge it, and I go, everybody's available. All they have to do is have a card on COTG Online. So Fabulous Moolah would definitely be available. But there was only one person who got multiple votes, and that person is BuZZsaW, the Ultimate Warrior-ish version from the 80s Mania Return set. That BuZZsaW got more than got 2 or 3 votes, I think. So he will challenge Dude Brohan today. Let's roll for initiative and ring that bell. Looks like Dude Brohan is going to start things off here with a shove across the ring. They have equal power, so that will work. Hurt 2 for BuZZsaW. Big atomic drop 3. BuZZsaW hurt 2. And Dude Brohan is a fist to the head, just punching BuZZsaW right in the head, hurting BuZZsaW. Dude Brohan rolling again into the turnbuckle, will throw BuZZsaW into the turnbuckle. He is crushed by a big kick as Dude Brohan rolls on level 2 offense. Into the turnbuckle again, throws BuZZsaW back in, crushed by another big kick. Dude Brohan rolling on level 2, hits a big running clothesline for 3. BuZZsaW is down 3. Leave the ring. BuZZsaW is going to go out of the ring. The opponent comes out of the ring and hits you with an object like a steel chair. The ref warns him to stop, but he shoves the ref. Dude Brohan shoving the ref. Opponent rolls disqualification, and Dude Brohan is disqualified for shoving the ref. BuZZsaW wins the match, but not the title. Ladies and gentlemen, well, there you go. You have to let me know, does BuZZsaW get some sort of special stipulation rematch because he won by disqualification? I want you to let me know in the comments who you would like to see Dude Brohan face next week on the match of the show. So there you go. It is time for the question of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Last episode I asked you, do you reset your wrestlers' rankings at the beginning of each year? And we got a lot of great answers. Gerandis says, my rankings are based on the past few weeks/months of action, but I also keep lifetime win-loss records too. This is something that I did starting last year, was my rankings are all cumulative. So if you enter the Federation, you start at a 0 ranking, and then you have to start winning matches to work your way up. But last year I started keeping track of yearly win-loss records, so I am right there with you. ScottyBoy999 says, for rankings, I don't keep a list, just kind of go by feel when determining contenders. Great way to do it. But if I did, I would not reset. If someone did well, say, in the last couple of months of a year, all their good work is undone. Seems rather unfair to them. I totally agree with you on that. This little image is... but Joe M says, my rankings are based on lifetime win-loss records, but I also keep track of the current year win-loss records. That helps me. That helps more for end-of-the-year awards. That's exactly what I am doing as well. Shane says, I never reset my rankings. Work up from the bottom, new guy or girl. There you go. That's what Shane does. And Jared says, when it comes to rankings, I reset the win-loss records within the rankings, but everyone that is still on the roster starts where they were from the previous year, and any new talent starts at the bottom of the rankings. If there are multiple debuts, they all start at the same ranking position, same ranking at the bottom. I love it. Thank you, everyone who took the time to respond to the question. I have a new question of the show today. When you are starting a new year, do you introduce all the new wrestlers at once, or do you slowly bring them in over the first couple cards? I would love to know that. I have the way that I do it. I would love to know the way that you do it. You can answer in the comments below, and your questions will be on the next, the answers will be on the next episode. Well, to wrap things up here, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to announce the next 2 names for the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Act 3 set. Last week, we announced Todd Kennelly as the first card. And today, I am super excited to announce not 1, but 2 names. And that is the quote-unquote team of Beef Candy, Richie Slade and Flex McCallion. Hailing from Candyland, Beef Candy is Richie Slade and Flex McCallion. Beef Candy seeks to use their savory sweetness to eliminate all the aesthetic disruptions on the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood roster filled with spoiled meat. Soon after the formation of Beef Candy, Richie Slade, won the Heritage Heavyweight Championship, which he held for almost 4.5 months. Raised on Gaines pasture before moving to Candyland and managing Slade to the Heritage Heavyweight Championship, McCallion, while previously known as Coach Flexo, also earlier guided wrestlers to the UWN Tag Team Championship and to the PP3 Cup. McCallion manages Slade from ringside, but occasionally teams with him in tag team matches. Slade can also invoke the Candy Clause in his contract, by which he and McCallion take on his opponent in a 2-on-1 handicap or candy cap match. So there you go. There are the next 2 names, Richie Slade and Flex McCallion. And I want to tell you, Zeke did an amazing job on these cards. Originally, Flex McCallion was just going to have a manager card with a bunch of interference stuff on the back. But we already kind of did that with Coach Flexo. So we worked with Flex himself on developing a wrestler card for the back. I mean, the guy's built. The guy is a wrestler. And so he will have a wrestling card, and then in the handbook, he will have a brand new separate interference chart. So you will be able to use him however you want to use him. You can use him as a tag team. You can use Richie Slade individually, and Flex is just managing from ringside. It is all up to you, promoter. Now, shortly after this podcast airs live on Monday night, I will update the thread over on the Filsinger Games message board. If you want to check out, I'll put their bios and their move descriptions up there. You can check out bit.ly, that's bit.ly/CWFHACT3. The number 3, not I. CWFHACT3. So super excited to get these 2 in the game, and let me tell you, they are super excited to be in the game as well. Well, that is going to wrap it up. As we wrap up here, as we usually do, I want to invite you to check out the other amazing Filsinger Games Fan podcasts, Uncharted Territory, After Further Review with Steve Tower, Heartland Championship Wrestling with Dave Little, Roll Up, the official Filsinger Games podcast, and of course the brand new Dizzy Dice podcast by Lee Longpree. So check out all of those podcasts. And I will see you back here, ladies and gentlemen, on Friday for the next episode where we'll go over the Legends teaser and we will answer your questions. And, of course, find out if BuZZsaW gets a rematch against Dude Brohan. Hey, did you know that there's an audio version of this podcast that's available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts? Just search for Filsinger Games in your favorite audio store and it should pop right up. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, leave it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe or follow whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, and follow GWF Promoter on social media at GWF Promoter. If you'd like to check out my personal feds, check out gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. The theme song you're listening to is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere you get your music. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Filsinger Games or its subsidiaries. It is purely for entertainment purposes. This episode is copyright 2021 Saturday Morning Media. Huge shout out to Mark Ferguson, Christopher Merriman, James Lawrence, and the amazing, the one, the only Pete Beck for being in the audience tonight. I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you on Friday. Good night, everybody.
All the great things that I've got. And you know, when I sit down and take a look at